that my name is Gal, and I'm Jewish, and we have had enough of Jew hatred.
Gal Gadot has officially had enough. Enough of the hate, enough of the drama. And now Rachel Zegler's dirty laundry is spilling out for everyone to see. The live-action Snow White has hit theaters, but nobody's buzzing about the fairy tale magic or the evil queen's killer cheekbones. Nope. The real talk is all about the drama backstage, and oh boy, it's pure soap opera levels. Gal Gadot and her co-star were clashing hard, and you'll never guess what sparked it all. Believe it or not, it started with just one Instagram post. On March 21st, 2025, Rachel Zegler shared a heartfelt tribute on Instagram celebrating Snow White's release. It was packed with emotional throwbacks, smiling selfies, behind-the-scenes hugs, and lots of love for her castmates. She even called the experience life-changing, saying she grew so much over those 4 long years filming. That's enough time to transform from a rookie to a full-on red carpet regular. But while fans were soaking up the sweet nostalgia, some sharp-eyed followers noticed something, or someone, very obviously missing. Where in the world was Gal Gadot?
Very grateful. We're great. We're exhausted.
Yeah, you are.
It's messy.
What are the
and
age
loud.
ranges?
She wasn't tagged, she wasn't mentioned, not even a throwback selfie. Gal Gadot, who literally played the evil queen and shared top billing with Rachel, was completely erased from the post. Suddenly, fans weren't chatting about costumes or cinematography anymore. They were laser-focused on the glaring social media snub. Was it intentional shade, silent beef, or something way deeper? And if you thought it was just a forgotten tag, think again. Things got a whole lot messier real fast. Theories started flooding in. And let's just say they weren't subtle. At the top of the list, politics. Turns out Gal and Rachel stand on opposite sides of the Israel-Palestine conflict. Gal, being Israeli, has always shown strong public support for Israel. Meanwhile, Rachel has made it clear she sides with Palestine, and she didn't whisper it either.
Zegler also faced blowback after posting Free Palestine. Gadot is from Israel and served in the Israeli army.
Her Free Palestine post during filming stirred up a major storm, and it wasn't the kind that just quietly passed by.
We would see people not condemning Hamas, but celebrating, justifying, and cheering on a massacre of Jews.
Rumors swirled that tensions on set were sky high, and that whole "we're just here to work" vibe might have been more about surviving the day than real teamwork. But politics weren't the only thing driving a wedge between them. Let's talk about life outside the set. Gal is 39, a mother of 4, married since 2008, and radiating that strong family-first energy every time she steps onto a red carpet in those stunning gowns.
13, almost 8, 3.5 and 1. Just in 1.
That's a lot.
So we experience every hormone.
Rumors swirled that tensions on set were sky high, and that whole "we're just here to work" vibe might have been more about surviving the day than real teamwork. But politics weren't the only thing driving a wedge between them. Let's talk about life outside the set. Gal is 39, a mother of 4, married since 2008, and radiating that strong family-first energy every time she steps onto a red carpet in those stunning gowns.
When you leave the scene, I turned to the camera and I was like, "Gal's mad." It was so, but then you were FaceTiming your kids right after, being like, "Hey, come on!" It's so good.
These women are clearly living in 2 completely different worlds, and sometimes that gap feels more like a canyon. You're not going to catch them swapping skincare tips in a trailer anytime soon, unless it's drenched in polite awkwardness. But it gets even juicier. Despite all the buzz and whispering, both actresses did show up at the Los Angeles premiere on March 15, 2025. They even posed side by side for the cameras, but fans caught everything. The smiles were stiff, the body language tense, and the sparkle in their eyes definitely wasn't excitement. It felt like watching 2 coworkers forced to play nice at the office holiday party. Professional? Sure. Friendly? Not even close. Every red carpet photo became another clue fueling the mystery. Did Rachel and Gal actually hate working together? Then, Rachel tried steering the conversation in a different direction during interviews, talking about how women in Hollywood are always unfairly pitted against each other, and how important it is to show support. Powerful words, but she never once mentioned Gal by name. Naturally, fans read between the lines, wondering, Was she throwing shade while pretending not to? Or subtly confirming that there was definitely something to see here?
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
Now let's talk about how all this chaos really impacted Disney. And spoiler alert, it wasn't pretty. You'd think they'd be popping champagne over another billion-dollar box office hit, but nope. Instead, Disney found itself scrambling into full-blown damage control mode. With the drama between Rachel and Gal stealing all the headlines, the studio reportedly scaled back everything. No flashy press junkets, no over-the-top red carpet extravaganzas. Just a quiet, almost sheepish rollout, like they were hoping no one would poke too hard at the mess. But of course everyone did. Adding Rachel and Gal's tension to the already boiling pot, Disney suddenly had a massive PR nightmare on its hands. And if that wasn't bad enough, they were also catching major heat over their casting choices.
She's talented, she's attractive, she's got skill, but there are a lot of actresses in Hollywood who bring all that to the table and are not going to absolutely sabotage you.
In June 2021, Disney announced that Rachel Zegler would be their new Snow White. At first, it sounded like a dream. Young, super talented, and a voice practically made for musicals. Director Mark Webb couldn't stop gushing about her, saying her incredible vocals were just the beginning of her many gifts. He praised her strength, intelligence, and optimism, calling her everything you'd want in a modern princess. The casting team seemed absolutely enchanted, but outside the Disney bubble, not everyone was cheering.
Every young person dreams about a phone call like that. I've been lucky to have a few of those in my life, but this one is certainly extra special as a huge Disney fan.
Because here's the thing, Snow White isn't just a name, it's tied directly to the character's iconic image. The very first thing people associate with her is skin as white as snow. So when Disney cast Rachel, who's of Colombian and Polish descent, eyebrows were definitely raised. Comment sections exploded, and suddenly everyone, from film critics to political commentators, had something to say.
The reason Snow White is called Snow White in this version of the film, because of course she is not white as snow, is because she and her family go through a snowstorm and survive the snowstorm, and so it's a mark of her resilience. That's why she's called Snow White.
Some people were thrilled, finally seeing a Latina actress step into a major Disney princess role. But others, especially more conservative voices, were not having it. Then Ben Shapiro jumped into the mix, blasting Disney for drifting too far from the original story's identity. Meanwhile, Rachel didn't shy away. She leaned in. She proudly defended her casting, saying she was honored and a little overwhelmed by the opportunity. After all, when was the last time you saw a Latina actress play a character historically known for being the palest person in the room?
It's the most emotional experience that a person can go through to know that what they're working on is something that has reached a generation of people.
The representation hit hard for a lot of people who had never seen themselves reflected in a Disney fairy tale before. But Rachel didn't stop at just celebrating. She pushed the conversation even further. She reminded everyone that talent, not skin color, should be the focus. She spoke about how Snow White is beloved across Spanish-speaking countries, and how landing this role wasn't just a win for her. It was a win for an entire generation of kids who could finally see someone like them in a princess gown. It was powerful stuff. And if you thought the conversation cooled off after her comments, think again. It only heated up after her complexion.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
She's named after surviving a brutal snowstorm as a baby, not for the color of her skin. Talk about a serious twist. Rachel explained that this new Snow White is all about resilience and strength. No more waiting around for Prince Charming. This Snow White is focused on becoming the leader she was always meant to be. One of Rachel's quotes sums it up perfectly. The heart of the story is about remembering how strong you actually are. With that, Disney took a tale that's been retold since the 1800s and gave it a full 21st century reboot. But of course, not everyone loved it. Some critics argued that stripping away the original symbolism weakened the story's roots. They felt Disney was stretching too far just to be woke. For every fan cheering the progress, there was someone accusing Disney of tampering with a classic that didn't need fixing. Caught right in the middle of it all was Rachel, doing her best to smile and push forward while standing at the center of a cultural tug-of-war. Meanwhile, film historians and insiders jumped into the debate. Leonard Maltin made a strong point. Stories have always evolved with society. Fairy tales aren't frozen in time. They grow and shift as the world changes. And if diversifying these tales helps more people see themselves in them, what's the harm? Still, this whole Snow White situation exposed more than just Hollywood's growing pains. It highlighted how divided audiences are over tradition versus representation. And by casting Rachel Zegler in that iconic role, Disney clearly made their choice. Love it or hate it, one thing's for sure. This casting decision sparked a massive conversation. And it's forced Hollywood to take a hard look at how they tell these beloved stories moving forward. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.